What is up, guys, and welcome to the Strength of Body and Mind podcast. My name is Gordon. I'm going to be your host, and this is episode 30. Kind of cool that we've actually made it this far, episode 30. I remember when I first started planning this, I immediately had ideas for the first 20, 25 episodes, and I had an idea, I guess a concept of where I was going to take it, but I didn't have specific episodes lined up, and it wasn't until I got to 17 or 18 of actual recording that I started to see a bigger picture vision. And that's kind of cool. And that happens a lot. And that happens a lot in fitness too. You start off with a goal, right? And you start to work towards that goal. And as you're grinding towards that goal, things change. Something happens, or you make a development and decide to pivot because it better suits your big picture needs. Your big picture can change. Your whole landscape can change. And that is exactly what happened here. So where we're at now with episode 30 is it's sort of getting into some areas that I think are critically important, and I didn't really have as part of my initial vision, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So today's episode, anyway, this is going to be all about building confidence. Okay, it's going to be, the intent is for it to be a little bit shorter than usual. We'll see how that goes. I say that a lot and it never actually happens, but this episode is intended to be a little bit shorter, and it's all about building confidence. I think it's important because it doesn't just get into building confidence and as it relates to fitness, but also confidence in life and how they're tied together. And they are tied together. So if you're wondering whether they are or not, they absolutely are. And it's not, 100% true 100% of the time, but it can be. And a lot of times it is. And a lot of times confidence is the missing piece for people to go to that next level. So we're going to talk about that too. But if you are new to the podcast, if this is the first time you're listening, thank you so much for coming and checking it out. And obviously, if this is not your first time and you're coming back, I'm extremely excited you're here again, and I really appreciate it. But again, if you are new, I do encourage you to go back and listen to episodes 0, 1, and 2 at some point. I wouldn't stop this right now because this is going to be really important, and I think there's a lot of value here. But at some point, I would recommend going back and checking those out. It'll probably provide a little bit more insight into who I am and why I've created the Strength of Body and Mind podcast and the Sobam Gear Company that it is sort of affiliated with. But anyway, just a quick little synopsis. The Strength of Body and Mind podcast was designed to spread awareness and education based around my core pillar of belief, which is the body and mind are connected at such a deep level, and most people don't understand it, and most people don't give any mind to it, and most people don't even think that that is a thing. And I need to change that. I intend on changing that. I believe that subject matter is widely misunderstood and widely understudied, unfortunately, but it is very, very, very true. Those things are very connected, way beyond what most people think. So if you have never really given any thought to the actual mind-body connection that's going on, and by the way, this isn't some weird kind of cult thing that I'm getting into. This is a very real thing, and I intend on bringing on some people that are far smarter than me to talk about that at the scientific kind of medical and biological and cellular levels. But aside from that, I've done my own research, and I've spent enough time now, almost 10, 11 years, looking into this, and I've experienced it, and I've experienced other people experiencing it, and I know it's real, and I intend on just, spreading awareness of that, just to, repeat myself there. But that is what this podcast is built upon, and the structure of it is twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. The Tuesday episode is more of a physical-based podcast, meaning a lot of workout stuff, weightlifting things, nutrition, very tactical, practical things on the fitness side, the actual physical fitness side. And then Thursdays is the second episode of every week. That is more mindset, more mentality, mental strength, development, confidence, things like that. And it operates on that 2-day-a-week schedule every single week. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you are listening to those because there's a lot of value brought every single week. So anyway, today's episode, this is all about building confidence. Now, if you are anything like I was when I was in college, so going back about 10 years now, and you have any issue with confidence, when you walk into a room, or when you are presenting in front of people, or when you are meeting people for the first time, or when you are, and this is where the tie-in really comes in, trying something for the first time. Also, if you are trying to take something that you kind of do a little bit and you want to level up and take that to the next stage, if you are struggling with confidence in any of those areas, and a lot of people are, then this episode is for you. Okay. Now that's where I was in 2008. Not only was I lacking confidence in communication, like verbal communication, oral communication with people, mainly girls, even though I was locked down pretty heavily by my then fiance, now wife, I still had a thing. I don't know. I couldn't explain it. I mean, it wasn't just girls either. If I had to stand up and give a presentation at work, or if I was, going back to when I was in school, if I had to present in front of the class or job interviews, things like that, my confidence was so low in myself for a lot of reasons, but it was so low that I had a difficult time just talking to people, It wasn't until years later when I started to figure it all out. And I also realized years later that I wasn't the only one. Okay. I think that's part of the reason why some people who are lacking confidence continue to go down that vortex of having zero confidence or low confidence, is because they think they're the only ones, when in reality, it's actually probably the opposite. It's definitely the opposite. More people have low self-esteem and low confidence than the alternative, or than the opposite. So this episode, we're going to talk about some of it's not even the one thing. This is really just the one thing that I have found that can turn anybody's level of confidence in anything around. And it starts with being confident with yourself as a person, being confident with yourself as a human being. So there's 7 billion humans, right? We're all fundamentally the same. So we're fundamentally different, but we're fundamentally the same in that we have the ability to communicate to each other. We have the ability to look at each other. We have the ability to present ourselves through body language when we walk into a room. That is the truth. Okay. So forget about all the other things to go with it, like how you look physically, what your status is socially, what your money situation looks like, all that. Forget all that. We have the ability to make an impression when we walk in a room. We have an air about us, whatever that is. And you control that air about you. You control how much confidence you have. You have total control over that. And what I'm about to explain is a way that will immediately set you apart. You will see results immediately, like literally the day that you do this. And if you continue to do this and make it a habit, then you will see those results compound over time. And when I'm saying results, what I mean is your confidence is going to go up. Your confidence in communicating to people, your confidence in trying new things and being open-minded to those new things, and your confidence in acknowledging the things that you suck at so that you can get better. All of that is going to come out of this, okay? And it starts with one thing, and it's this. And it may sound silly. It may not, but this is the truth, okay? And this is what I want you to do. This is a tactical thing. All right. I want you to look one person in the eye today. Look them right in the eye, smile, and say hello. That's it. It's that simple. Do that thing. When you go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or whatever, Tim Hortons, wherever you're at, to get a coffee, I want you to look at that person who you're ordering the coffee from right in the eye. Don't look down at the counter. Don't look at the register. Don't look at your wallet. Don't look at your phone. Don't look at the menu on the wall behind the person. Look at that person right in the eye, smile, and say hello, and then order your coffee. Okay, 99% of you listening probably don't do that. When you go, let's just keep using the coffee shop example. When you go into that coffee shop, not only do you not do that, when you walk by somebody in line or if someone holds the door for you, you don't look them in the eye and say, thank you. You might say thanks, but you're probably not looking them in the eye, and you're probably not smiling, and you're probably not making that good body language communication happen. And that stuff is so important. And it's so important because it changes the complete atmosphere around you. It changes the air about you. All right. And it does that in a very, very positive way. Now, I could tie this all into something else that I believe in called the law of attraction. I'm not going to. We'll talk about that another time. But I believe that that's also something that takes place when you do this. But as far as just building confidence, here's what's going to happen if you start doing this, okay? You start today, right? You do it to that one person that you talk to, who's a complete stranger, by the way, that person at the coffee shop, or the person at the gas station when you go in to buy, I don't know, a Red Bull or whatever. That person's a complete stranger. So you're doing this to a complete stranger. So even if you look like an idiot, which you won't, by the way, even if you do, you'll probably never see them again. So it really doesn't matter. And that's part of becoming confident, is acknowledging the fact that no matter what I say to this person, if I look like an idiot, if I sound like an idiot, whether I'm actually doing and saying something that would make me, an idiot or not, or whether that person's just interpreting it that way, regardless, that transaction, once that's complete in 15 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute, then it's over probably forever, and it really doesn't matter. Right? It takes confidence just to do that. Okay? It's kind of like when I was a lot younger and I was like, looking for a girlfriend and I was talking to girls and stuff. We always hear this thing like, what's the worst could happen? You can go up and you ask this girl out and she says no. Or, if you're a girl or, whatever, you go up and you ask this person out, they say no. And what's the worst can happen? That. And then what? It's over, right? It's easy to say that, but if you don't have the confidence to continue to believe in yourself after they say no or after they laugh in your face, then it's not that simple. And by them saying no, that's hard to take. That's difficult to take. And so the same thing goes with talking to someone at Starbucks. If you go up and you say hello and you look them right in the eye, first of all, that could be something that is so unusual to that person that they may laugh, or they, not because they're laughing at you for saying hello, but just like they're taken aback by the interaction that they're having. Someone looked at me in the eye and said hello. Like, that's just unusual. And that, so if they laugh or if they smirk or something because they're taken aback by that, they're surprised by that, could potentially have an effect on you where you now feel like you feel strange because, they didn't really react as positively as I was expecting them to. And so now, I feel like almost like a form of rejection or something, and that could eat away at your confidence. But it's not true. But here is what's going to happen when you start doing this. And I think that you should do this every day starting today. A lot of people that you look in the eye and say hello to are immediately going to look away in shyness, okay? Because they themselves are not confident in themselves. They have like, a lot of shy characteristics about them, okay? Because they're not quite there yet. So they're going to immediately look away in shyness, all right? A lot of girls, I guess this happens with both sex, both genders, but I've noticed it personally with a lot of girls. I mean, I'm married now, and I am in obviously not like courting any girls or anything, but I've found that younger girls, like, younger than me, if I look at them in the eye and I smile and I say hello, and this could be a girl again working at Starbucks or, a girl at the bank or something, a lot of them will blush and look away. All right. And they're not blushing because I'm so ridiculously amazing looking. They're blushing and looking away because they're not used to somebody, a guy looking at them in the eye and saying hello, because most people don't do that. Most people look down, or they look past the person, or they're looking at their phone. They're not looking at them, and they're not actually engaging with them with their eyes. Okay. And so you'll find that a lot of people look away in shyness. A lot of people, particularly the opposite sex, will look away and blush, and they'll smile. But you'll also notice this. People will be nice to you. People will automatically be nicer to you. Even if they're having like a really bad day, a lot of times if you look right at them in the eye, smile, and say hello, people will be nice to you. It changes something in them immediately. Like they feed off of that positive energy. Okay? And all three of these things are going to happen. And you know what else is going to happen? You're instantly going to feel more confident. When you look somebody in the eye and say hello, unless they, well, I'll say this, 100% of the time, you're going to feel more confident as soon as you do it. You're going to feel better. Now, you might feel really, really, really worked up before you do it, at least for the first few times. But as soon as the words come out of your mouth, you're going to immediately feel better. And then when you walk away 30 seconds later or whatever, then you're really going to feel better. And then the only time that's not really true that I've found is if you are extremely low in confidence beginning this whole thing, and the first time you do it backfires, meaning it doesn't go very well, which is, it's so incredibly rare. The only situation I can think of is like trying to ask someone out on a date and they laugh in your face, which, let's be honest, there's a point in time when that kind of stuff just kind of doesn't happen. Like I'd say after high school. But that's like the only time I've really ever experienced that. So like as an adult, if I've gone ever since I've been an adult, I'm trying to think, every time I go into a store or anytime I interact with somebody for the first time and I look at them in the eye and I smile and I'm polite and I say hello, the reaction is always one of those three things, unless that person has a high level of confidence. Then they look right back at you and they smile and they also say hello, and then you have a nice conversation going. And then what that does, guys, is it really, really pumps up your confidence even more. It also increases the level of positivity in your mindset just by having a pleasant conversation with a stranger, and that will increase your energy level throughout the day. And what that continues to do throughout the day is just feed that confidence more and more. It makes your day obviously brighter, but it also makes you more confident because you just randomly walked up to a stranger and you said hello and they said hello back and you had a pleasant conversation, and all of a sudden it cranks up the confidence meter. That's really the only way I can explain it. But it's true. It's 100% true. And I guarantee if you do that today and you do it again tomorrow and you do it every day, you will have better days, like every single day. You will also be more confident. Okay? I promise you, when you go and look a stranger in the eye and you smile and you say hello and you have a conversation, you will be more confident. Okay? Because now, you won't, it's not scary. Right? You're demystifying the whole thing or whatever. You're making the whole thing that once was scary, not scary. Think about anything else you've ever done that was scary the first time you did it. And then as soon as you did it once, twice, 3, 10 times, it was no longer scary, right? It becomes normal to you, right? Well, talking to strangers, looking them in the eye, having a pleasant conversation, making eye contact, building that atmosphere around you to be positive and confident and full of energy. When you do that enough times, it becomes the normal. And your body and your mind and your perspective on how you enter a room and all that it doesn't know anything else after a while. It only knows that. It becomes normal. You adapt to it, okay? And again, it's extremely hard at first, right? But if you do it just one time every single day, like 1 in 5 people, it doesn't even have to be every stranger, but 1 in 5 strangers or 1 in 10 strangers, right? You make a point to do it. You force yourself to do it. It'll be challenging at first. You may even feel like you're about to have a panic attack, right, before you do it. But you're not going to. You're not going to. And you're gonna have that conversation. It's gonna be great. And it may only last 15, 20, 30 seconds. And that other person, they may react in a way that is totally neutral. Okay. But you can still feel good about yourself that you went that extra mile to look them in the eye and be positive and say hello and smile, all right, and try to be a good human being in the way that you communicated with that other human being. All right. And if you do that every day, it might take 6 months, guys. It might take a year. Your confidence level is going to shoot right up. Now, what does this have to do with fitness? Okay, great question. The thing is with fitness that I've found is that fitness has a direct tie to confidence. Okay, people who are high level confidence have a much better rate of success in fitness, and vice versa. People who have a high rate of success in fitness become more confident naturally through that process. Those two things are very similar, and they're very closely connected in the body. So if you bring yourself to a point where you are socially extremely confident, meaning you can walk into a room and you can talk to anybody because you're so confident in yourself. You're so confident in the way that even if you fumble and say a bunch of stupid stuff, it doesn't matter. You're so confident in yourself that you can look at them, have a conversation with them, not be afraid of saying something stupid, and still have that conversation with them. If you can get to that point, then fitness becomes very simple. Okay. If you know nothing about fitness, but you're extremely confident in the way that you communicate with other people, then fitness is very simple. Okay. Because you can take on something like fitness, and you can, even if you don't understand all the ins and outs, you can take it on for the first time and understand right away that it's not that scary. It's not that complex, and it's very simple to learn. And all you need to do is execute on it. Okay. You're confident enough to look at fitness as just a small obstacle, and you can jump right in and take on that obstacle. Okay. And it is that simple. That is the connection. And on the flip side of that, the more you practice and the more you become a practitioner and you execute on becoming fit and losing that weight that you need to lose, or building that muscle that you need to build, or getting in that better cardiovascular shape that you need to get in, whatever your goal is, the more you work towards that goal and the more you execute on it, the more confident you're going to become anyway. I talk about this mind-body cycle. This is something that I'm getting ready to have a training on, by the way, because I believe in it 100%. But the more you exercise that mind-body cycle, you build your confidence, which persuades you and pushes you to become more fit, which persuades you and pushes you to build more confidence. And it just continues to be cyclical over and over again. As you do that, the byproduct of that, which I just pointed out, is building confidence in yourself in the fitness realm. Okay. But it's not in a vacuum. When you build confidence in something specific like that, it spills over into everything else. So if you build confidence in your social engagements and interactions with other people, that spills over into the rest of your life. That spills over into everything, including how you take on things like fitness. And as you build your fitness levels and work towards those goals, that makes you more confident because, as I've said in the past, you achieve these little micro goals, which makes you more confident in your ability to achieve fitness goals at all. And that drives you to complete more fitness goals, which just continues to make you more confident. And that confidence that you're continuing to build layer after layer after layer in the fitness space, that will also carry over into everything. As you become more confident in the fact that you can achieve goals in fitness, that is going to make you a better communicator, because you know that whatever you talk about is irrelevant, in that you don't need to worry about it because you're confident in yourself, because you know you can achieve stuff. Okay. And you know that you can achieve things that are difficult, like fitness, which most people cannot actually be successful at because they don't try hard enough. A lot of times it's because they're not confident enough in themselves. So, that's really it. Again, I believe that fitness fuels mindset and confidence, which fuel fitness. That's the cycle. And to build the confidence to do one of those things, this is a great place to start. And I think everybody should do this. And even if you are working towards your fitness goals now, and you are making small progress, and you are building your confidence and your self-belief, this is a great supplementary way to add on to that outside of the gym, outside of training. Okay. And honestly, it's what's going to make you a better human. And the better human you become, the more confident you're going to be in every aspect of your life. And I'm serious about that. if you become this person who is very, very, very good at communicating and very positive and very willing and open to having a good, positive conversation with a stranger and smiling and looking them in the eye every time you talk to them, that is going to make you feel so good about being a person that it's going to be contagious, and it's also going to spill over into every other part of your life. And I mean that. And honestly, that's the punchline of this whole thing. That's the takeaway. I want you to go look a stranger in the eye today, smile, and say hello. Something might happen. Nothing might happen. It's irrelevant. Do it. And what you're doing is you're putting coins in the bank, right? You're putting coins in that confidence bank. You get enough coins in that, then, you know, it overflows and it explodes, and that's like a leveling up situation. All right, you go to the next level, and you keep doing it over and over again. Before you know it, you've got 100 piggy banks full of these confidence coins built up, and, you know, you're swimming around in those like Donald Duck from DuckTales or whatever. Like, you're overloaded with confidence, right? And that will, again, I'm going to say it again for the third time, that will spill over into other areas of life, including fitness. So with that, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Make sure if you have anybody in your life that is a like-minded person that needs to hear this, that they hear it. Share this with them. If you share it with them on social, make sure you tag me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And if you haven't already, go over to iTunes. If you like the podcast, if you're listening, if you're getting value out of it, and I believe that anybody listening to this probably is, subscribe and please rate us. I really, really, really do appreciate that. It helps me reach more people, helps me get this message out there, which is the ultimate goal. So so that's going to wrap it up. Again, guys, thank you so much for checking it out. This is episode 30, and we're just getting started, which is really exciting. So anyways, you guys get out there, train with purpose, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.